The Elite Eight is set, and we have some awesome matchups in the Southeast. We've got the Kentucky and North Carolina matchup we've all been waiting for. We've got Kansas versus Oregon. We also have the long-awaited rematch of Gonzaga and Arizona. No, Arizona choked. They're out. Let me wear a hat of somebody who's not out. We have Kansas versus Xavier. And then, of course, we have the crazy matchup of Florida and South Carolina in the East bracket. How about that Florida-Wisconsin game, by the way? Of course, when you're ahead by 3 points. When you're ahead by 3 points with 5 seconds left and the guy's dribbling the ball 30 feet from the basket, you foul. You foul. You foul, yes. And then you can't lose by having the guy make a 3 and tie the game. So ridiculous that they don't get that. And also, by the way, when Wisconsin makes the free throw with 4 seconds left to take the lead in overtime, Nigel Hayes should miss the second free throw. There's no way that the Florida player is going to get a rebound, pass to a guard, and get the ball anywhere across half court within 4 seconds. It's much easier to take it from out of bounds and get it up court within 4 seconds. But they don't get that either. Anyway, the mistakes that people make, amazes me that coaches make these errors. All right, we've got Kianna here, our guest commentator, to select the Elite Eight games. So, Kianna, who is going to win? The duck. The duck? No, hold on. Calm down. Who is going to win between the Tar Heels and the Wildcats?
Duck.
The duck? Who's going to win between the Bulldogs and the Musketeers?
The duck.
The duck? How about who's going to win between the Gamecocks and the Gators?
The duck.
The duck. All right, one more, Key. Who's going to win between the Jayhawks and the Ducks?
The duck.
The Ducks. The Ducks evidently are going all the way. But no, I have Kansas Jayhawks, so I do not want the Ducks to go all the way. They go revert back to this hat. All right, congratulations to the 6 people who are able to get, to the people, not 6, to the people who were able to get 5 of the Elite 8. Jason Heinritz, who would have had 6 with Wisconsin had Nigel Hayes just missed his second free throw. Also, Dane Espigard with 5 out of 8. Steve Katz with 5 out of 8. Robert Gonzalez with 5 out of 8. Brian Mormon with 5 out of 8. 2-time champion Rebecca Taylor with 5 out of 8. And Chase Findell with 5 out of 8. John Israel with 5 out of 8. Jake Donald with 5 out of 8. And still on page 3, though, even though we got 5 out of 8. And then, yes, also with 5 out of 8, my illustrious self. Okay, Key, we get it. All right. I was finally able to tie Phoebe with 62 points and 14th place in the pool, a respectable showing at this point. 24 of our participants were able to muster up only 2 of the Elite 8. Among those people were Travis Lewis, our second-round bonus winner, who plummeted down toward the bottom of page 1 in the pool standings. Also, some other people with 2 out of 8 included former champions of this pool, like Chris Heigl, because Michigan State is not advancing. Jeff Nostradamus Nixon, who has correctly predicted nothing since 1999. Jacob dubs himself as worst to first. In reality, it's Jacob worst to not quite as crappy Kinnamore. Also, with only 2 out of 8, Bruce Not So Good Man. And last year's champion Daniel Reeder with a horrid showing this year, showing his true self in terms of being able to pick games. 2 out of 8. No Villanova this year, Daniel. However, all those people with 2 out of 8 did beat several people, 4 people in fact, who got only 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8, we had Carter Hayes. We had Kevin Blanton. We had Joe Duca, Dookie. And we had Scott Graham. Scott can clinch last place in the pool today if Oregon loses to Kansas. If Oregon beats Kansas, then Scott would nudge past Joe Dookie, who would then wrap up last place if North Carolina loses to Kentucky. Remember, everyone, that by participating in the pool, you are agreeing to pay double next year if you finish last as a fine for putrid picks. A lot of people lost their champion in the last couple days. We had people who picked Arizona, including Dane Espigard, Matt Washington, Celia Ane, Eric Allred, Clint and Nick Buckaloo, Peter Schneider, Jeff Bry, Chris Heigl, Bruce Goodman, and Joe Dookie. All picked Arizona to win the championship. We also had a lot of people who picked UCLA to win the championship, including Kyle Steinfeld, Chris Oakes, Anthony Hayes, Anthony Garcia, Ryan Casey, Jason Oltis. Who's that anyway? Austin Robinson, Jake Meiser, Nick Leindecker, Ken Schaefer, and James Crittenden all took UCLA to win the championship. We also had some people who got zero of the Final Four. Kyle Steinfeld got 0 of the Final Four. Celestino Rosa, Austin Robinson, Ken Schaefer, Dan Reeder, and Victor Donatus with 0 picked of the Final Four. Thank you for playing. Please come again. Congratulations to Jason Heinritz for being at the top of the pool standings. The top of the pool standings with 72 points. 72 points for Jason Heinritz. He has Gonzaga over Kentucky in the championship game. He also has Oregon in the Final Four. In second place, Dane Espigard, 70 points. Has Arizona, though, to win it all, so he's out. You're out, Dane. Third place, Steve Katz with 68 points. Has North Carolina over Arizona in the championship game. Also has Kansas in the Final Four. Fourth place, Robert Gonzalez with a surprise showing. 67 points. Has Kentucky over Villanova in the championship game. Also has Kansas and Gonzaga in the Final Four. Robert Gonzo took Gonzaga merely because their name starts with G-O-N-Z. Justin Donald, fifth place with 66 points, has North Carolina over Duke in the championship game. Also has Kansas and Gonzaga in the Final Four and needs that Gonzaga to win over Xavier to pass Steve Katz to be in first position among those people that have North Carolina as the champion. And then rounding out our Elite Eight with 64 points, we have Brian Mormon, Chris Naku, and Rebecca Taylor, who occupies the prestigious top chick position in the pool as of right now. Brian has Kentucky over Duke, plus also has Gonzaga and Oregon in the Final Four. Needs Oregon today to pass Gonzo. Naku has North Carolina to win, but cannot win first place because of people ahead of him. And Rebecca has Gonzaga over Kentucky in the championship game, plus has Oregon in the Final Four, but cannot win the pool because that's identical to the picks of Jason Heinritz, our pool leader. So fortunately, we will not have Rebecca as our first 3-time Vector Marketing Corporation March Madness Maniacs College Basketball Pool champion. There are a number of contenders with 63 points, including people like Al DiLeonardo, Michael Cassetta, Gene Powell, Chase Findell, and Seth Kinzer, all with fine showings in the pool. We also have 7 people with 62 points, including Buddy Boyd, Phil Bolander, Joe Shoup, Casey Sanders, Celia Ane, Phoebe Cassetta, and me. Yes, all doing well with 62 points. Uh, 14 different people can still win the pool. Thanks to Tom Skowski for doing some of his egghead calculations, which he loves doing. We have 14 different people that can win. Here are a few of the scenarios. I'll wrap up with this here today. If Kansas wins the championship, or should I say when Kansas wins the championship, if Kansas wins over Gonzaga, Phil Bolander will be our pool champion. Yes, Philly B. If Kansas wins over anyone else, Phil could still tie, but the pool champion would most likely be either Seth Kinzer or me. Yes, I can still win the pool. That is so exciting. Seth would be in position to win if North Carolina beats Kentucky, and then Kansas wins over anybody but Gonzaga. I would be in position to win if Kentucky beats North Carolina. Yes! If Oregon wins the championship, the Ducks, Jeremy Bell wins the pool. If Kentucky wins the championship, Robert Gonzalez will win the pool unless Oregon beats Kansas today. In that case, Brian Mormon would be in position to win. If North Carolina wins the championship over Gonzaga, Michael Cassetta would win the pool. If North Carolina wins over anyone else from the left side of the bracket, Justin Donald would win the pool. There's an outside chance for Steve Katz, but he needs Kansas over Oregon, and then he also needs Xavier over Gonzaga to get into position. Finally, we have the scenarios if Gonzaga wins the pool, or the championship. If Gonzaga wins over Kansas, the winner of the pool will be either Adam Jester or Jamison Jones. And that depends on the UNC Kentucky outcome. Adam took North Carolina. Jamison smartly took Kentucky in that game. If Gonzaga wins over North Carolina, John Israel wins the pool. If Gonzaga wins over Kentucky, Jason Heinritz wins the pool. And if Gonzaga wins over Oregon, J. Brad Britton will be our pool champion. Yes, I'm not sure of all the possibilities with Xavier, Florida, or South Carolina. Heinritz is probably a favorite there, but he needs either Kentucky or Oregon to reach the Final Four to stay in his leading position right now. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. I'll be back either Sunday night or on Monday morning with an update once we're down to our Final Four. Kiki, come over here and say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you guys later.